The night Cristiano Ronaldo spoke those words, the world didn't hear a footballer, they heard a man confessing the kind of truth no spotlight can hide. For years, people believed his life was perfect. A king in every stadium, a father, a lover, a brand too big to fail. But in that interview, his silence was louder than the trophies behind him. He sat there, shoulders tense, fingers tapping on the armrest. The host asked about his love life. The smile flickered. For a second, the mask cracked. He looked down, eyes searching the floor for words he'd buried for too long. He didn't say much, just enough to shake the world that thought they knew him. What does it mean when a man who has everything says he feels empty? When he says family is all that matters now, but skips the name of the woman the world thinks is his forever? In that pause, in that careful dodge, people saw the truth. Maybe the fairy tale is just a picture on Instagram. Maybe the king is tired of pretending. They say Ronaldo is addicted to winning. But no one asks what he's lost to stay number one. Nights alone in foreign hotels while his family sleeps miles away. Birthdays missed. First words, first steps, moments that don't fit into a trophy cabinet. He once said he'd trade some of his golden boots to have dinner with his father again. A father he buried too soon. Chasing glory too far from home. Fans screamed his name in Madrid, in Turin, in Manchester, but when the final whistle blows, the stadium empties. He stands there, surrounded by security, agents, cameras, but no real warmth. Even in that interview, you could see it. A man built like a fortress, yet cracking where no one can see. Maybe that's why people felt it this time, the regret slipping through the cracks. The regret of a man who spent his life on magazine covers but now struggles to hold together the one thing no sponsor can buy. A real, unbreakable love that survives when the lights go out. He said he teaches his kids to stay close to family. He wants them to know, love is bigger than trophies. But behind that advice is the pain of a man who knows exactly what regret tastes like. His eyes told a story. His PR team will never print a story that starts with a boy from Madeira and ends with a legend who can't find peace in the same mansion that made him a global god. And as millions shared that interview clip, everyone asked the same thing. Is Cristiano Ronaldo still fighting for love? Or is he just living with regret too heavy to admit out loud? They say when you stand on top of the world, the only thing left is the fall. But for Cristiano, the fall was never about losing matches, it was about losing pieces of himself. No fan could ever see. People remember the goals, the records, the celebrations with arms wide open like he owned the sky. But when he walked back to his hotel suite, those same arms held nothing but the weight of what he left behind. His father's grave he couldn't visit enough. His mother's quiet prayers for her son to come home more often. The laughter of his children echoing in rooms he barely spends time in. In that interview, he didn't blame anyone. That's what made it hurt more. He just said, sometimes, when it's quiet, you think about what really matters. A simple line, but it said everything. For a man who built an empire on discipline and sacrifice, that quiet is louder than any stadium roar. When Georgina came into his life, the world cheered. A new love story, a fairy tale sequel, perfect holidays in Dubai, photos on yachts, children dressed in designer clothes, an image built for headlines. But behind the closed doors of marble halls, the truth doesn't wear a designer label. Those close to him whisper of arguments that never make the press. Of moments when the warmth between them is replaced by cold distance. Some say they're just rumors, but that interview gave those rumors fuel, because when asked about Georgina, he didn't light up the way a man in love does. He talked about duty, responsibility, the kids, the family, but not her, not them together, not the passion everyone wants to believe in. He said, I do what I must to protect what's important. No promises of forever. No declarations of burning love. Just a man tired of pretending that life is a fairy tale when real life feels more like a contract he can't break without tearing himself apart. For years, the cameras only saw what they were meant to see. The vacations, the gifts, the glamour. But even a carefully staged photo can't hide what the eyes reveal when no one's watching. In that interview, his eyes spoke louder than his words ever could. Fans started asking, is this man still in love? Or is he trapped in a story that sold too many headlines to ever end honestly? Maybe that's why he clings so fiercely to his children, the only thing in his world that can't be bought, branded, or edited. He knows they'll grow up and ask him questions no trophy can answer, and maybe that's his biggest fear, that they'll see the same emptiness he's been trying to fill since he was a boy with nothing but a ball and a dream that cost him everything real along the way. He could have stopped. He could have chosen an easier life, less training, fewer cameras, more time with the ones he calls family. But that's not who Cristiano Ronaldo was built to be. Winning wasn't just his passion, it was his only way to silence the ghosts that kept him awake at night. But what happens when the roar of the crowd stops working? When the goals don't fill the cracks in your heart anymore? In the interview, the cracks showed. His voice didn't break, but his eyes did. You could see it. The realization that trophies shine bright, but they don't keep you warm when the lights go out. He talked about his children with a softness you rarely hear in his voice. They're his real legacy, he said, not the records, not the fame. He wants to teach them to choose wisely, to stay close, to protect what matters. But his eyes betrayed him because he knows it's too late to go back and fix what he lost. While chasing greatness, insiders claim he spends more nights alone than anyone believes. That the giant houses feel like museums, not homes. That Georgina tries, but the silence between them grows thicker with every new headline. Every new business deal that turns their love story into a brand to protect. And maybe that's what he regrets most, that he's not just Cristiano, the man anymore. He's Cristiano, the brand. The family is part of the package, the kids are part of the photos, and the love is part of the story the world wants to keep buying. But behind the scenes, even the greatest showman can't fake warmth forever. When asked if he'd do it all again, the fame, the sacrifice, he paused longer than the question needed. He said, "It's not about what I'd change. It's about what I'd keep." He never said he'd keep the trophies. He never said he'd keep the brand. He only talked about his children, the only part of his life that doesn't feel like a contract. For a man who's spent decades controlling every narrative about him, this slip was different. It was raw. It was real. And it left millions wondering, what's left for Ronaldo when the last whistle blows? When the final goal is scored, who stands next to him when the world no longer needs the legend, just the man? Deep down, maybe he knows the answer already. Maybe that's why he looked away when they asked about the future. Because sometimes the truth hurts more than any defeat on the pitch ever could. Maybe that's the final tragedy in Cristiano Ronaldo's story, that the man who gave the world so much joy might never find that same joy when the stadium lights go dark. Because love isn't a stadium you can train for. It's not a brand you can polish for the cameras. It's messy. It's quiet. It's real when no one's watching. In that interview, every word he didn't say painted the real picture. He spoke of loyalty but not of passion. He praised his children but avoided the idea of growing old with someone by his side. Some fans say he's protecting his privacy. But those who really watched him that night, they saw a man who's tired of performing off the field too. He knows the world wants the perfect fairy tale, the superstar, the beautiful partner, the flawless family. But the truth is, Ronaldo might be the last one left, pretending that dream is still alive. Those close to him claim he's tried to fix it, the distance, the cold silences, the life that feels more like a press tour than a home. But maybe some cracks run too deep, even for the world's greatest fighter. He once said, "I can handle hate, I can handle failure. But losing my family, that's my real fear." That fear keeps him playing, keeps him posing for pictures, keeps him building an image that might be falling apart behind palace doors. And yet, in the same breath, he teaches his children what he wishes someone had taught him. Be there for each other, be real. Don't chase what I chased, if it means losing what really matters. These aren't the lessons of a man at peace. They're confessions, raw, painful, honest. One day the trophies will gather dust, the brand deals will fade, the headlines will find a new hero to crown. And when that happens, the only thing left will be the truth he never said on stage, that love is the only thing that could have saved him from regret. So as the world replays that interview, people argue over his words, but deep down, everyone feels the same quiet ache. Maybe Cristiano Ronaldo's greatest rival was never Messi, never age, never the critics. Maybe it was the silence waiting for him every night when the cameras turned away. And maybe that's the real story. The one no brand can spin, no headline can twist, no fan can deny. The story of a man who won the world, but might still be searching for the one thing he can't buy back. The piece of a love that's real when the final whistle blows.